All right, good evening, everybody. System Chalk here with the 219th episode of our first run through Book of Hours, playing as the artist and definitely giving myself a lot of work in terms of things to do, but I'm actually kind of happy to be doing it this way. So there are a number of changes that I made to the order. So for instance, I'm going to be working on Hordes and Ivories first because that allows me to bring up the occult scrap, and then I may be able to use the occult scrap for other things, particularly anything that requires knock. I do still need to do things like work out when I'm getting the the final level of Auroral Contemplations leveled up and so on and so forth. But essentially what you'll notice here is that I've kind of taken all of the unique memories that I had. I've set them aside so that they should be used fairly early in the ordering of things. And I'm hoping what that means is that some of the jams that'll be created by the different types of reading that I need to do, those will be cleared out. And really, I mean, we're getting close to the halfway point of the day, but as long as I get Auroral Contemplations up to its... once I get Auroral Contemplations sort of up to its level 5 again, everything else is kind of gravy, especially because Hyksos is going to be on the table. So, but, if I can, it would be nice to take advantage of these many faceted lessons and be able to level up Applebright Euphonies as well. So we'll see what we can get done by the end of the day. For now, though, we are going to unpause and see how far we can get through the day's tasks. All right, so I was a little late on the pause there, but everything's basically kind of synced up now. So the skill is now level 4. Its power aspects have also increased. So let's just take a minute here to collect, and then we'll see where we are. So, as the sun is coursed, Joel of the Bridge, a retired soldier and sometimes tollkeeper, wrote this epic poem about Alexander's famously inexplicable decision at Issus to withdraw from the war with the Achaemenids, and his subsequent return to Macedonia. Alexander meets at Issus with Darius, king of kings, for 3 days and 3 nights. On the first day, the two men trade threats. On the second, promises. And on the third, secrets. Darius tells Alexander something so shattering that he retires to his tent to consider matters of strength and matters of mastery. At dawn on the 4th day, Alexander announces, "The sun has his course, upon which he returns, and so do I." He returns to Macedonia, executing 2 of his captains when they dispute his decision. He brings with him the names of a blind god and a rite of sacred betrayal. For, Joel opines, without betrayal there would be an end to war. So there's a contradiction, and again, this is going in sort of the free pile right now because we want to see how we can make the most of these. Bancroft Diaries. Lord Franklin Bancroft was initiated into the arts of the flower maker by the rose witch Fiona Ayrshire. He rose to become a society provider of occult services and secret pleasures before his abrupt disappearance in 1790. Bancroft seems to have been a talented adept, but devoted his energies to frustratingly whimsical projects, arranging grape-fetching races between Mansa spirits, teaching percussagants to juggle, and conjuring storms of imaginary blossoms for the rose witch Ayrshire, who resolutely refused to ever couple with him. Bancroft spends 20 pages bemoaning this last. The mantra here recorded is a high and exacting magic, beginning an ascent to the house. Bancroft boasts of his ability to recite it when in his cups. He also had it set to music for a performance with fireworks at Vauxhall Gardens. The Viennese Conundra. Vandriel describes odd events in Vienna, the disappearance of children, epidemics of parasite activity, animal mutilations, nightmares of worms, the activities of a charitable organization, the New Legions, that funds the burial of the poor. She proposes peculiar connections between these activities. When the individual K attends the meetings, black dogs are sacrificed and quartered. When the element M is in attendance, black mares are found with their throats slashed. I propose that these sacrifices are not necessary, but that our Elysian friends may consider them fitting, herewith diagrams of the mutilations. Medusa's riddle, then, I choose to render as what is not seen. There is another riddle, one that I have heard rendered as what may be lost. I will delineate some historic attempts to answer it. These are in themselves, in some sense, sacrifices. The Radical Measure glossed. The original Radical Measures was a manifesto for experimental poetry with occult properties, written in the 19th century by Dr. Aaron Peel. The original is notoriously incoherent. Much later, Christopher Olopoli took on the task of editing and glossing it. He has taken some liberties, but the updated version is generally well regarded. The hours have little time for poetry, Dr. Peel avers, but they have a tremendous amount of time for poets. Olopoli has added a note suggesting this should in fact be the most tremendous time with poets. As the rose opens, Dr. Peel explains, enduring memory opens to the horizon. This is a way of saying something that cannot otherwise be said, and is best only written with one's eyes firmly closed. Alopoli's gloss reads, Horizon Sight Synthesis Method, reverse procedure with knock to elaborate Gervinite in the chronsochord mode. The Rose of Woznai, the heretical teachings of a disgraced offshoot of the Sisterhood of the Knot, that arcane contemplative order that existed in all histories. This was recorded by Woznai and dedicated to Saint Respicius. The offshoot favored by Woznai, the true sisterhood, followed Saint Respicius in pursuing ascension in the name of the door in the eye, the merciless hour of light. Saint Respicius failed, perhaps because the larger sisterhood tracked him down and ritually strangled him, but Woznai outlines steps for those who hope to succeed. Seek in dreams, seek the mansis. The third mark can be achieved only when one has passed the stag door. One must pass the wood, one must rise to the white door. The stag door awaits the light bearer in the sight of Girby. Okay, we've got another metal to play with. I'm slightly inclined to bring back a tryst here. Well, I don't have any tryst to bring back, so never mind. Actually, I think a Faust is slightly better because I do have the Amplebright Euphonies. A quick nap in a warm bed with something comforting to drink while the winds chase the clouds and the clouds chase the sun. Actually, core... I feel bad about this, but I'm actually going to bring the core back. Just in case I get to pluck Numa pairs. Alright, the Annals of St. Brendan's, over 100 years of the Abbey's annals from 1230 to 1350. 3 events of particular interest are recorded. An endowment by Eva de Braus, one widow of the Marcher Lord, Lord Gwilym Dhu, Black William, which enables an expansion of the Abbey, the construction of the Winter Tower, which is dedicated to the Madrigad, and the death by poisoning and arts unsanctioned of Abbess Nona. After Abbess Nona's death, the double foundation is dissolved and the monastery is reformed to only accept male novices. At this point, the ink changes. The helpful scribe explains that for the new foundation, the abbot has mandated Stargall, not Ugall, ink. He outlines the differences, use of inks of containment, techniques with sky, not nectar context, but doesn't trouble to explain why. Alright, I think that was all the reading that I had queued up. So I'm going to need to make sense of what I've got. I'm also making an old wound, but... So the first thing that I'm actually going to do is use the Enduring Reflection and such. So that was for Horns and Ivories. So satisfying to have come so far, improved the skill to level 5. Now this didn't use anything that I can't already restore, but I can now use my... Oh. Use my fancy new book, add Arthur Moore's card, what you might call an occult correspondence. Okay, so let's think a little bit about where we are with these next steps. So first of all, I still need to level up Auroral Contemplation, so we use the Ascendant Harmony with that. lantern and edge. Well, look, it's going to be foresight and it's going to be contradiction, and then I think I should just earn those other ones again. Okay, so it's the auroral contemplations. These are all taken care of now. So coil and chasm is right here. Confounding, this is all moon stuff. So that was Meniscate Reflections. Meniscate Reflections 4. That can't be right. This has got to be Serpents and Venoms. Oh, hang on. No, so this was Serpents and Venoms 3. So this is all the scaly stuff for Serpents and Venoms. Okay, so Horns and Ivories is already on its way in. Okay, so if Serpents and Venoms 3 and 4 are already accounted for, then really it's just a question of Meniscate Reflections. So if it's Meniscate Reflections, I need level 3 first, so that was going to be... So this 3 will get me started. I need one more here, but then I guess I'm getting the old wound already. I feel like I should get another... Okay. I'm losing the plot again. So, Coil and Chasm. Let's just say Auroral Contemplations 5 is next. Serpents and Venoms 3, Serpents and Venoms 4. I'm actually going to move, so Auroral Contemplations 5 is next, then Coil and Chasm. Then Serpents and Venoms 3 and 4. Which then means that I've got Meniscate Reflections 3, Meniscate Reflections 4. That brings us pretty close to the end of the day, and I still have 4 lessons learned hanging around. So the Meniscate Reflections is a pretty straightforward one for me. If I just add another contradiction there, I'm good. I didn't think that was going to be fair. Okay. Now, I had one thing called SS. I should probably work the Hyksos in at some place here, but let's get back to some basics. Let's say that stone stories. I don't hate it. I just don't think I have the time. You know what? I have enough runway to be able to plan what memories I'm going to deploy closer to the time. So I'm going to just let this run for a bit. Assuming, yeah, I've got my contradiction and I've got my old wound on its way. I think the question right now is where I put the rest. So just as kind of a little bit of prep, if I'm going to be leveling up stone stories, so that is that's going to require an earth sign before too long. Oh, actually, I can get an impulse out of that. That doesn't cost me anything. Well, I mean, okay, it costs me an element of the soul, but like that's easily replaced. And I guess at some point I'm going to want another another scaly thing, but we'll handle that over time. What I'm also trying to do here is when it's clear... sorry, I heard a click for something and I don't have my... Actually, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to reload so I can get that shortcut back. Ah, here we go. Will they come when you do call for them? So I don't think the knock helps me here. I'll keep it aside. If I can save something that can be used elsewhere, I'll switch it out. But I don't think I have too many things that use knock in this case. But yeah, like I said, I'm at the point now where I can sort of afford to sort of coast for a couple of these memories and see where things are shaking out. I do want to make sure that Auroral Contemplations is back to the level that it needs to be. But after that, I can... I can make some clearer plans. Okay, so this is our safety measure. So Auroral Contemplations to 5. No option to use that in here. So we were going to use metal for that. So satisfying to have come so far. The contradiction is now free, but I believe we're already getting that back from the Book of Thrones. And we also have an old wound to work with, so I think that might have been heading down here. Looks like I actually have a surplus of a few things, but that's not a bad place to be, so I'm just gonna run with it. So let me just think about how the rest of the day goes. We're just about to finish the... So we've got, let's say, 2, 2... So realistically, I've got 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so these many faceted lessons in the Applebright Euphonies. Really what I want to do is I want to cram all of these into a last sort of Hail Mary at the end of the day. The Book of Thrones, a legend of the Shadowless Empire, transcribed by Alexander Peterhans from the annals of a secret shrine in Anatolia. In the first and greatest history, a subject of the Shadowless Empire of Persia travels to the west, to the kingdom of the Persids. There he becomes a protege of the tutelary Persid deity, the scarred man who lives in the dark. He returns after 7 years to put his skills at the service of the Shadowless Empire, becoming their golden general. After many years of peace, the heirs of the Persids move against the King of Kings and the Shadowless Empire. The Golden General will not take arms against the blood of his mentor until the King of Kings whispers a great secret of betrayal in his ear. He breaks his sword, forswears his oath to both Empire and Scarred Man, and enters the temple behind the world, leaving his life behind. So I guess this is the contradiction we were waiting for here. And Traveling at Night, Volume 1, The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Alapoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. The wood lies outside the walls of the Mansus. As any student of the histories knows, the Mansus has no walls. Alapoli describes how he came to make repeated visits to a dream wood via what he calls silver dreams. Trying to think your way to the wood, he explains, is like thinking your way to being in love. But I did find a secret that helped. Okay, so I'm actually a little unclear in terms of where these things were going to go, so I'm going to play a little bit of this by ear. But one thing I do want to spend some time thinking about is sort of my mad rush at the end of the day. So if I take a look at my list, what I want to do, if I've got, say, 3 many-faceted lessons and Applebright Euphonies to run around with, so I should basically add +3 to anything that I've got. And what I maybe would want to try and do is find something like strings. Actually, Strings and Songs is a great example of this. So I want to take Strings and Songs to level 8. Well, actually, that's not the best one. Oh, I actually want to take Applebright Euphonies from 6 to 7. So this is a perfect one. So for that, it's a 6 to 7. So for this, I would just need another 3. Actually, the thing that's nice about this is I should be able to get some memories without too much trouble here. So we're going to set aside a Faust for that. So the first option I have is Satisfaction. So we'll use a Journey to the Grove for this one. So then we should also be able to use a Beguiling Melody. I'm slightly mad I moved the Beguiling Melodies. I think they may be in the overflow now. Skeleton Songs is 3 Secret Thresholds. Sorry, I'm just going to check my spreadsheet here. I don't normally like doing this, but it's a little... It's too close to the... it's too close to the end here. Yeah, provides a Beguiling Melody. Okay. So I think Gossip will get me to that last one that I need. I'm just trying to think if there's a rosy desk or something that I can use. I don't think Collar's desk has rose. Oh, but it does have moth, so... I don't often look for gossip, so... So that's my overflow for Applebright Euphonies if the opportunity comes up. Oh, the consider verb is open. That was almost bad. Okay, so Coil and Chasm, which was going to use a health. Another fruit plucked from Knowledge's tree. Improve the skill to level 4. Now, I was originally going to be committing some of this stuff to the Tree of Wisdoms, but I actually, the shortage is not really elements of the soul. It's more, or memories. It's more time at this point. So like I said, I'm going to have some hard choices to make fairly soon. But the aim here is to commit to the stuff that's the lowest level, just so I don't need to do all this with Numa again. I'm going to save my core for the very end of Numa. In fact, I'm going to try and... this is definitely going to be a risky move, but I'm going to use another core. I should have another glass of water here. So a quick nap and a warm bed with something comforting to drink while the winds chase the clouds and the clouds chase the sun. So I should have this back in time for the evening, and then I'm going to just try and dream on something. Okay, Coil and Chasm is up. So we move on to Serpents and Venoms. And Serpents and Venoms, I believe, was going to use health. I'm slightly worried that I don't see this on the list. Trist, okay. Another fruit plucked from Knowledge's tree. Improve the skill to level 4. So you can kind of see what I'm doing here, right? Where I'm starting to shuffle some core back in so that I can interact with the gardens. Okay, so let's just think about realistically what's going to happen here, right? So we'll queue up the next one for the list. Actually, I'm going to take the Journey to the Grove. Black Ellie, who much later became Damascene Matriarch of the Sisterhood of the Knot, recounts her journey to the Grove of Green Immortals. In the Grove, Ellie meets with an entity identified as Three Faces, Nine Colors, who may have become her lover. Three Faces is the name of the Applebright, the nowhere hour of youth, healing, and mutation. It offers Ellie a form of eternal youth to take back west with her, which she rejects for certain reasons. She does promise, however, to renew their acquaintance in the season when the Applebright is the witch, not from sentiment, but rather grandly to ensure the continuity of the histories. I may also shift around my priorities because being able to level up Applebright Euphonies is a nice opportunity here. So, the Skeleton Songs, poems of greedy delight, composed by the possibly pseudonymous Arbella Dusk, the rumored heiress turned madam turned poetess. In Arbella's introduction, she explains that the book was to be illustrated, but that the Suppression Bureau would not permit it. She hints that the illustration still exists somewhere. The book is dedicated to Sir Parzival of the Red Cup. The 26 delightful fruits, the 7 chastisements, the 9 gardens, the 4 regrets. Humours of a Gentleman. Samuel Savage's satirical comedy on the intrigues of the ailing but cunning John's son, his mistress Mavelyn, her lover Leo, and the upstart Corvino. By the end of the first act, Mavelyn has revealed a secret door in the walls of the house to Leo, and Corvino is taken to consuming worms. The play is scabrous and occasionally hilarious. The characters are contrary and capricious. Many of the more resonant lines might well be formula of power disguised in plain sight. Okay. So at this point, I should have a really clear idea how the rest of the day is going to go. So I've got two rounds with the memories here. Okay, we're actually... I think we're good. The only thing that we may miss out on is the opportunity to level up Hyksos, which is a little bit of a shame, but not a deal breaker. So I think Serpents and Venoms was due for another batch. So satisfying to have come so far. I'm wondering if there's something I can add here for... Let's try and get another Sky or Gossip in. I can get a Savage Hymn. So the reason I want to do this is if I can level up Hyksos. Yeah, I'm actually going to want 2 then. So... well, the Old Wound isn't actually being used, so yeah, Unhatched Hymns strikes me as the best bet here. So like I said, we've sort of changed up the plan a little bit, but not in unwelcome ways. I've learnt enough to puzzle out books in this language, though it might be slow going. You can also use and improve this like any other skill. So, Hyksos on its own is very valuable. The Shepherd Kings brought this speech west from Canaan to use in their wards and snares. Had they never come to Egypt, they might have never found a way to write it, given its addictive qualities. That might have been for the best. So I know we're over time, but I do want to make the most of the day, so let's just see where we can go with all of this. I'm just trying to think, is there another grail that I can get? I know we're really cutting it close here, but... okay, we've got the Impulse, we've got Satisfaction, Foresight, Regrets. I've got the Beguiling Melody already, I think. Or we're already on our way to getting... Oh, sorry, no, we already have it, yeah. Well, I guess I could trade that out for a Cheerful Ditty. Okay, we're going for it. I've already mastered this, but I could reread it and perhaps recall a memory. So what I'm trying to do is just cram in all the last things that I can at the end of the day. It'll be clear when the time comes. But at this point, like, every second counts, so I'm trying to be... disciplined. Okay, so we're on to Menascate Reflections now. And Menascate Reflections was going to be improved with metal. But where's the other metal? Yikes. Oh no. I just crashed and burned. I can get Meniscate Reflections up once, but I can't get it up a second time because I've used the metal for something else. I didn't plan this out right. And unfortunately, metal and Arab are the only ones that have edge. And Shapt and metal are the only two that have forge. So that's fine. We just have an extra many-faceted lesson. So one of the things that's going to happen is I'm going to be able to level up. I'm a little annoyed that I did that to myself, actually, because I had other opportunities to restore elements of the soul here. But, oh, actually, so with that in mind, the core's got to go to the side now because we don't have what we need for... I think I see what happened, actually. So I didn't wind up using the health. The health should have been used for... Oh, nope. No, I think I maybe just didn't move aside enough metal. Like I said, it's a shame, but we're not gonna worry too much about it. So I do have the health available for picking things in Numa. What I will do is I'll just take a quick inventory with what I've got here to see if there's anything else that I can level up before this stuff goes to waste. And then we'll see where we sit at the end of the day. So it's not as good as it could have been, but we're okay. And I actually think at this point, yeah, I shouldn't use this Fost. So everything left over. So we use this core for sure. We use this Fost for Applebright Euphonies. So this will be for Hyksos. This will be for Applebright Euphonies. I think I have a third one ready. So let me just see. Let me just work out how this is going to work. Night has fallen, dawn will come soon. Okay. So if I want to level up Applebright Euphonies, I need 6 memories. So we take Beguiling Melody. This is going to take 7 seconds, so Hyksos first. That's Grail and Edge. So that one I can just use the Old Wound or the Contradiction. I think I'll use the Contradiction in this case. Yeah, all of these are forfeit. Ooh, I can also use the Final Understanding. Okay, so let's actually just work... I got to do this properly now. So Applebright Euphonies. 1, 2, 3... Nope. 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I actually already have 6 without using any many-faceted lessons. Good God. Okay, so I'm going to try and be sneaky in 5.4 seconds. I deserved a little quiet time. So I'm going to sleep on a many-faceted lesson, and I think at the very least House of Light has... blunted this particular trick. Now, I think the most valuable thing for me right now is the Applebright Euphonies. Oh wait, no, but I was going to do Hyksos first, right? Yeah, that's a core. There's always more to learn. Improve the skill to level 2. This will also increase its aspects, which will help with crafting and make it suitable for higher branches in the Tree of Wisdoms if you haven't already committed it. Okay, so 30 seconds. And then the next 30 seconds, we're going to cross over into the next day. So these two many-faceted lessons will not be used, which again, no big deal. We have what we need. We were going to lose it anyway. So at this point, I will go to the beehive. That's right. My opportunity to take advantage of Numa has actually passed. Yeah. Okay. We are focused on lessons. This does also mean that I gave up a bunch of water for no real reason, but hey, not a problem. So yeah, this is it's a little bit of a shame that there's a couple of efficiencies that could have been done for today, but all in all, I'm actually pretty happy with where I am in terms of my overall goal. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like I said, the way that if you get the 13 extra lessons, right, all you really need to do is get back to your old level with the you need to get back to your old level with the skills, and everything else is just a bonus. So there we go. When I thought I'd understood, I'd only begun. Improve the skill to level 7. This will allow me to move quite far through the Tree of Wisdoms. There's a couple of things that I'm going to need to fix. So number one, I've got a bunch of skills that I just need to move into their new spots. And then I have some weirdness as far as my... Okay, nice. So we do get a free lesson of many facets for the morning. And of course, a new visitor in winter, the Affair of the Second Skin. So all in all, that's a good day's work. So the overall plan, I can't remember if this is Thursday or Friday's episode. So in terms of the things that I moved up, Hyksos is now at level 2. We got Serpents and Venoms to 5, but we didn't get Sharps to 6. So that might be one that I want to work on. The good news is that Sharps is actually something that I should be able to... Sharps is something that I should be able to unlock through... Actually... It's Nyctodromy that I want to focus on here, so... Yeah, so I think I need to work out this whole strings and songs business and all that. I'm gonna play around with my my overall plan, just make sure that it's still feasible. But I can do that on my own time. But yeah, what I'll do is I'll take the improvements that we made. I'm gonna do that so that I can work into the the appropriate. I can work into the appropriate branches on the Tree of Wisdom so that we can get even closer to the the top. I'll look for the stuff that's solid. There are clearly some situations where I have doubled up the entries, and so I want to make sure that I'm like I think this is something that I've already resolved for myself, but I want to make sure that I'm not overcommitting. But the other thing that I want to do is, now that I have Hyksos, I have a few books that I haven't been able to read. Oh, that's interesting. So I think I kept the War of the Roads aside so that I could work on Menescape Reflections. So yeah, the Ascendant gives me, this will give me 2 Edge and Moon. The Book of Maya, Sand Stories, it'll give me 2 of those. Sand Stories is Moon and Rose. And the key for these ones is not necessarily to use them on something like Sand Stories. What I want to use them on are the highest level ones that are going to be difficult to get to certain levels. I should actually also remember that there's the very important one, which is the Child's Treasury of Golden Afternoons. That's also going to give me Sharps, which is nice. So Sharps, I believe, is Moon and Edge, if I'm not mistaken. Yes. So we have quite a few lessons learned that are going to become available almost immediately. I'm going to need to take some time to actually process all of the books. But the big plan here is going to be that for all of these lessons learned that I get, those are going to be dedicated towards the skills that are close to level 9, or the ones that really need to be brought up to that highest possible level, because those are, of course, the ones that are going to be most challenging to do in Numa. And then depending on where we're sitting after winter, I've got 4 books that I'm going to be reading and 1 that I'll buy from Oriflammes. Once that's done, we'll have a clear idea in terms of whether or not I can get to that higher level of the Tree of Wisdoms. Because as I said, Hyksos was really that last thing that we needed before we could make the progress later on in the game. So now that we have that, we are finally ready to start moving into the final stages of our trip to Brandkrug. But all of that has to happen in another episode, because it's almost a double episode at this point. So thank you everybody for watching. I can't recall which episode I'm on to now. I know I'm on 219, but if there's one more left for the week, I'll see you tomorrow. If it's the weekend, then I will see you Monday, where we'll have a little bit of learning to do, and then we'll be ready to move into the final stages of the game. So thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.